being grateful for what you have around you instead of saying, look what I don't have, is
Exactly.
such a benefit as far as your mood, how you look at the life. The sun shines a little
Yeah.
bit brighter when you
Yeah.
look at what you do have compared to what you don't have. Like it's really black and white, guys. And I mean, I know it sounds super simple, and it's because it is. Like we way overcomplicate a lot of things in just mental health and business and so many different aspects in this thing we call life. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everything's Okay, a mental health podcast brought to you by Crazy Ant Media. And as always, I'm joined by my father-in-law and co-host Dustin. And this week, while the world rushes towards turkey and travel plans and so many other things, we want to slow things down a little bit and ask, what does giving thanks actually mean to us? What does giving thanks actually mean to
Yes.
you, specifically this year? Specifically, me personally, this year has been kind of a roller coaster. We're ending it strong. I mean, there's so many different things that are happening in a positive way in my life right now. I am really on a high note. So I'm super thankful about that, and I'll dive a little bit more into that this upcoming episode or this episode. But yeah, I'm very excited because I mean, with Thanksgiving literally being tomorrow when this episode drops, it's a perfect time, right? It's a perfect time.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's nice because you're finishing on a strong note, and it was very low for you early in the year. No, there was a lot of struggles and a lot of things that were causing you some grief. And so it's always good, to kind of do. Mine is kind of the opposite. Mine started pretty good and then hit some road bumps in the middle, and kind of towards the end is like, what the hell is happening right now? But that's the beauty of life. I think you described it perfectly. It's a roller coaster. And it's a ride. It's meant to be a ride. That's why it's called a journey. It's kind of like, you know, and I'm glad we're doing this one cuz around this time of year, and shoot, not just this time of year, but I feel like as a society in whole, just lately, we have fallen into this pattern, and I know both you and I have been guilty of it at some points, and we've been working really hard to not stay in that pattern. But I think society has fallen into a pattern of complaining about what they don't have instead of being thankful for what they do have, right? And I mean, which is why I'm glad we're doing this show, because I want this week's episode to be very upbeat and inspiring and positive, and about how your life can actually be really good if you just focus on being thankful for what you do have, and for the beautiful things and people and events in your life, instead of just staying so focused on something that you don't have, or someone that you don't have, or something that you don't have. Because I feel like that's where we fall into a trap, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I completely agree. And I mean, yeah, with it being this time of year, the holiday season all the way around, it does come the holiday blues, which will
It
be a
does.
whole separate episode that we release in the next couple weeks. But with Thanksgiving specifically, it's always been one of my favorite holidays
Same.
because when I was growing up, the Austin side, the dad side of my family, like Thanksgiving was such a big deal. Like everybody gathered around, and literally before we carved into the turkey, we all sat around and we asked each other, what are we thankful for? And we went around the room, and there was nearly 20 of us. So it was a whole event, and it became something that I hold near and dear to my heart every single year because I think back on those memories and think about how special and grateful I am to have those bonds, to have those relationships as a family in my Austin side and in my Hannah slash Vibert side as well, my mom's side. So yeah, Thanksgiving is definitely one that I love giving thanks. I love looking back and appreciating all the things that I've learned from this year, the things that I fell down and continue to get back up from. And it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. And that's why it's important to talk about like gratitude
Yeah.
because giving thanks and being grateful for what you have in life, I think is a very important thing. Like, yes, money can be tight. Yes, things can happen that are completely out of your control, But again, like Dustin was just talking about, you have to be grateful for what you do
Yeah.
have in your life. We have just enough money to get gas and groceries. We really don't need anything else, right? We really don't need anything else. We're thankful to have, loving parents, loving friends that we can lean on and support to go over and do laundry, go over and have a free meal, go over and just spend time together and cherish the moments that we have because we know that life isn't guaranteed. And so to be able to have that time, and no, of course there are little tiny bit of ulterior motives, but as long as we have that time to build those memories, that's what I'm most grateful for this year.
Well, yeah, and similar in my background of like it always being a big family thing. I mean, it's some of my most treasured memories with my little brother who's no longer here is all of us gathering around, lifelong Cowboys fans. We'd all jersey up and watch the game as we're eating. And what when my brother and I started cooking and we were involved in the making of the food and like all the kind of stuff, it is a treasured time, and it's something that's very special. And the family's gotten a little bit smaller due to loss and stuff, but we still jersey up, we still watch the game, and it's a fun time. And yeah, I am grateful for that. And you're right. I get asked all the time about the tattoo, right? I got this tattoo. You can kind of see it. It's literally the symbol for gratitude. And I got it because I wanted it to be a constant reminder of always being thankful for what I have. That that I'm alive. As I said, there's been a lot of loss, but thankful for my health and that I'm here. Thankful for the people that I have in my life, like you said, and the circle that I have. Thankful I have a job when so many people in society today don't, and they're wondering where they're gonna be or how they're gonna feed themselves. I think gratitude is so important because when you really think about it, there's always somebody worse off than you. And if you just focus on complaining about what you think is so horrible in your life without really being thankful that you're not as in a bad situation as someone else may be, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. That's kind of selfish and just not the way to go about it. In fact, one of the things I'm really thankful for, and I know you're like this too, is I'm thankful that I'm in a position to be able to help people who are not as fortunate as I am. I go out of my way to not only express gratitude for what I have, but to help someone else have something so that they can be thankful for somebody reaching out and seeing them and giving them some. I think it's just as important to spread the gratitude and spread the thanks if you're in a position to do it, because that's how we get along in life, man. That's and I'm very thankful that I'm in a position to, and I'm not saying by any means I'm uber wealthy or but I'm in a position to where if I see somebody struggling, I can help. Even if it's buying a sandwich or giving them $10 or like just whatever. I feel like what's the old saying? Pay it forward. You see that so true in life. When you do good things happen. And I think it's a way that we should always live our lives and be thankful that we can.
Yeah, most definitely. And there are some things too that I want to go back and try to analyze and think about what did we overlook this year that honestly deserves more appreciation because throughout this journey of 2025, it has been very interesting. Like I said at the
It
top, it
has
has
been.
been very much a roller coaster and try to navigate what went right, what went wrong, and being able to continue moving forward as far as happiness, as far as day to day, as far as family time. I think
Yeah.
that's very important. So it's important to go back and look at the small things. And I mean, honestly, for me, like thinking about all the things that happened within like the 2024-2025 season because like I was able to go back to school, I was able to get a new car, I was able to have a beautiful townhome that we are able to move in, make our own. Like there's so many different things that happen within this last year and a half that has really been truly a blessing to be able to overcome a lot of the different stresses because with all of these different things, of course, all that money coming in goes out really freaking quick. And that's okay because, you're finally able to build a house your home type of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm super grateful and happy that I honestly went back to school. I didn't even think I would ever say that. And that's probably the thing that I tried not to give so much weight to. But it's something that I feel like I went back and did it for me. It's something that I felt like it really got me out of my shell as well to see what the next generation is going to look like because I used to be that younger generation, but
Yeah.
now I'm entering into my 30s in 2026 and I'm not anymore. And I see all these young up and comers to where like they want to venture into the music industry or they had interest in film and like all of these different aspects to where I did build a little network from going to school, whether
Yeah.
that be with my fellow classmates or that be with my previous instructor who her and I are now really good friends. So it's now that I have those tools and those networking skills to be able to build these bonds, build these relationships. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that I probably didn't put too much gratitude in at the time. But now looking back on it, I am very thankful that I did go back and go to school and, about to finish up my associate's degree and be able to do that for myself too, because I think I've talked about it on this podcast before, but I was never really a scholar. I was never a school kid. I did not like, everybody liked me. The teachers liked me so that they passed me, but I did not like being there. So now to go back and, finish with, I'm probably going to finish with like a 3.6, 3.7 GPA. That's
Yeah.
crazy for me to even think about. So yeah, I'm super happy and super blessed for going back to school, my family around me supporting me going back to school and giving me that momentum as well. Because, I mean, we always say everything happens for a reason. And I went back to school 10 years after I graduated high school, and I'm super happy that I did. And that's the biggest thing that I'm super gratified for that I didn't give enough acknowledgement for while I was going through it. But now I'm at the end. I'm like, yes, finally. I'm super thankful I did it, but finally.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think I don't know, for me, I think the thing that I've overlooked the most, and uh, I really do have a handful of people in my life that are consistently there that I don't think I acknowledge nearly enough. I talk about you and Emily all the time because duh. But there are a handful of people in my life that I feel like whenever I need them, they're there. And I don't even have to tell them anything. They just have this inert ability to know something's off and reach out even without me saying anything. And I don't think I ever really give that the proper thanks or gratitude that's owed there, because sometimes when you're having a real, like with all the health issues I've had this year and health issues of other people in my life that I've been having to deal with and everything, sometimes the simplest of things, a phone call to say, how you doing today, when you're having the worst day ever and you just know that somebody is aware, that is a powerful thing. A really powerful thing to just say, okay, awesome, I'm not alone. I thought I was going alone, and I'm not. And so, yeah, I think that. And then health. I fell into the trap of complaining about the health issues all the time and everything. But, I want to express more gratitude and thanks that I'm here. Like every day I wake up and put the feet on the ground, it's a win. And I don't think I'm nearly thankful enough for that, because, there has been a lot of loss. Anybody who listens to this podcast knows there has been a lot of loss in my family. And simply just to be able to be here and wake up every day is a huge thing. It's a huge thing. So, I think those are the two things that I sometimes overlook or forget to be thankful for. But I am, and it's been an amazing thing this year, because there, like you said, it is a roller coaster. But mine, unfortunately, has been a lot of downs as opposed to the ups. This year, last year was great. It's funny how that happens, but yeah, and we're going into a 2026 that's strong. Things are really lining up. Things are really starting to come together, and I feel great about that and really thankful about that. But yeah, Yeah, I think I'm most appreciative of those two things. Just waking up every day and having an incredible circle of people in my life that just are there, you know?
It's definitely beneficial, that's for sure, because you have those people you can lean on and continue holding you up in your downtime to where,
Yeah.
you are able to keep your head above water. I think that's the biggest thing too. But specifically, like, I think too, and watching people around me, they are getting out of their own way. We talk about mental health all the time. We
Yes.
talk about how we can be self-sabotaging sometimes, but everybody around me is realizing, recognizing what they're going through. They are recognizing when they're anxious, they're recognizing when to step back, and they're recognizing when to step out of their own way, because there are some instances and some moments where we can be very self-sabotaging, and to where
Absolutely.
we can't help ourselves moving forward. We always hold ourselves back. But I want to give a shout out, and I'm super thankful for my younger sister, because she has come a long way. I'm 29, she's 19. And she, when she graduated high school, got her GED, she was in an interesting place, just trying to figure out her place in the world. And throughout these last like couple years, really like year and a half, she's really come into her own. She's being much more responsible with finances. She's being much more responsible as far as her job, going to work. And I mean, she's 19 years old and she's working from like 6:30 in the morning until like 5 or 6 in the afternoon. Like, she's putting in hard work and going every single day, and people are seeing that and recognizing that. So I'm super thankful, and shout out to her for, being able to realize, hey, I was a kid and I was messing up a little bit, but now getting kind of more on the straight and narrow. Because I mean, I got these two tattoos. You were talking about your tattoos. I got these two cardinals as a representation of my younger siblings, so I could always keep an eye on them.
Yes.
And with seeing their progression, specifically her, it's been a journey to see and a beautiful thing to see. And she is a positive light in this dark world. And I definitely feel like, too, she's kind of on the same path as I am, where she did a lot of kids, young adults things in her teenage years, to where like when she becomes a young adult, like in her early 20s, she's ready to, take on more responsibility and be more adult, and to be able to learn more about adult things, so that she's prepared to enter in that adult world and continue to make the right decisions and be responsible. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her, because I'm super grateful for what she's been for me in my life. Her and I have grown super close since moving back down here to the Gulf Coast. And yeah, she is an amazing person. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to her.
Well, and I think that that's important that you brought up. And honestly, it's one of the things I'm most thankful for in my life is my reckless youth.
Hmm.
A lot of times people say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did all that," or "Oh, you were a heathen," or "Oh, blah blah blah." But you know what? I'm the adult that I am now. I was the father that I am now. I am the person that I am now because of that. Because I think so many times people who don't, when you're a teenager, when you're young, you're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to get out there and not necessarily be irresponsible and stupid, but a little reckless, make some mistakes, learn. That's how you grow into a responsible adult. That is how you know how to live life. And if you don't have the opportunity to go out there and make mistakes and sometimes be a little reckless, then when you do hit adulthood, you regret it. And when you live with regret, you start to deflect and you start to project that regret onto other people, which can cause all kinds of problems. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm thankful for my past. I think it definitely makes who I am now me, and makes me a stronger individual because I have lived life. I've lived every aspect of life. So when I hit these up and down journeys in life, I'm thankful that I lived that life because it gets me through the ups and downs of the current life. It's like, man, if you survived what all the crazy stuff you did in the past, this is nothing. You got this. And so I don't think I appreciate or give enough thanks for my wild ass youth. But and I got to tell you, it's we've touched on it a little bit, but it's so important, and I kind of talked about it at the top of the show, how gratitude and thankfulness is connected to your mental health. If you're not grateful and thankful for the things that you have in your life, if you're not paying attention to the small things, the people, the new job, the doing something you never thought you'd go back and do type things, and you are simply just focused on what you don't have and where you're not at or blah blah blah, it can be havoc on your mental health. Gratitude and thankfulness is so significantly important for a healthy mental state of mind. And I can't stress that enough. It is hugely connected. You know, they say healthy body, healthy mind, but your physical health and your mental health are linked to how you feel, how you project yourself. Are you angry and upset? Are you thankful and grateful? Are you happy? It's so key, right? And I don't think enough people understand that if you just live your life in a happy place, even when bad things happen, be thankful that you're in a position to get yourself where you are, and your life's just going to be so much better mentally at that point.
Yeah, I mean, let's dive into the science behind the whole, positive outlook
Yeah,
gratitude aspect because I mean, obviously it will be able to improve your sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things and slept on, quote unquote, things
yes.
that is so detrimental and so important because a good night's sleep can bring you into a new day feeling refreshed and start your day off with a positive mood. So I think that is very important. And then obviously, being grateful for what you have around you instead of saying, look what I don't have, is
Exactly.
such a benefit as far as your mood, how you look at the light. The sun shines a little
Yeah,
bit brighter when you
yeah.
look at what you do have compared to what you don't have. Like it's really black and white, guys. And I mean, I know it sounds super simple, and it's because it is. Like we way overcomplicate a lot of things in just mental health and business and so many different aspects in this thing we call life. But like it really can be as simple as apples and oranges,
And I
right?
want to say, touching on that, I want to give an example of how society views things like that. And social media, we all know it's social media, social media, social media. If you make a post on social media complaining about something that happened shitty in your day, you might get some comments. You might get like 40, 50 likes, oh, sorry, man, that went here. You post a picture of a beautiful sunrise, you literally get thousands of likes and comments. You know why? Because as you just said, people are thankful for the sun. They're thankful for a beautiful start to the day. They don't want to be drugged down by negativity. And something as simple as, wow, look at that sunrise this morning. That can make somebody's day if you just express that. So be thankful for something as simple or as beautiful as a sunrise and share it, because that could make somebody else's day, and they might be thankful for you for simply sharing a sunrise that they didn't get to see. Maybe it's cloudy and stormy in their area and they didn't get that beautiful sunrise. I know that seems very simplistic, but there is a science to it. Somebody going through a dull, rough start in the morning because of a rainstorm, and you provide them a beautiful sunrise that makes them smile, that's a huge thing. And people will be grateful and thankful for that. And it should make you feel grateful and thankful that you can do that for somebody in such a simple manner. That's just my example of how little things that you're grateful for can make huge changes in people's lives.
Yeah, most definitely. And it does, happen and spawn from something that can be so small because here are some tips and tricks of daily gratitude habits that you can adopt this current week moving forward into 2026. So many different things, but like a big one is sending a gratitude text to someone who you talk
Yes.
to regularly or talk to like not as regularly, because when you do that, it shows that you were thinking about them, and then they react in such a positive light. Maybe they needed that morning, maybe
Yes.
they needed a good pick me up. And when you do that, that carries on to maybe they do that and the next day, or so that is very beneficial when you send like how much you really appreciate somebody. as far as a text message or a phone call or anything like that, just let them know, hey man, I really appreciate you. You know, we had that one conversation that one time, or like, you're always such a positive light. That really takes somebody a long, long way. Because, I mean, personally, right now, I'm starting a whole new job. I've been talking about it a little bit on the podcast, and like, people have been showering me with gratitude and love, and it's
Yeah,
felt so amazing. My last 3.5 weeks here at this new position has my mental health has been infinitely better than the last 2.5 years at my other position. So I'm super thankful for that. But anyway, yes, sending in gratitude to someone specifically in the morning is always a great way to help somebody get through their day. The three things as a morning practice. Now, what I equate this as is three things that you're happy for, three things that went right in the previous day. So you know that, okay, those things really stuck out to me the
yeah,
previous day. Let's look forward to, capitalizing on those or making three more things that are awesome for us in this current day. And then, of course, journaling. Journaling is a big thing. We advocate for journaling. It definitely, helps you brain dump after,
without
a
doubt.
stressful, a happy, I think that's, something that we don't talk about enough. Happy journaling. We always talk about trying to get our emotions out as far as like sadness or mad or depressed. But if you're like happy journaling, that's like the best kind. And I mean, it all
Without doubt.
ties back to the Thanksgiving cultural reminder that it's not only one moment of the year, it can be every single day of just being thankful and that gratitude for the world we live in and the people around us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up a text, and literally it was so funny because I literally just sent one exactly like that. And because it's important, and I send these out regularly to people. One that I said, "Hey, in case I don't say it enough or let you know it enough, I really really appreciate you, and I'm so happy that you're in my life. I value you, and I just hope you know that you're a good person with a kind heart, and I'm thankful you're in my life." Something just that simple. It was random, a morning text, just like, "Hey, just wanted to say this to you today because I felt like you needed to hear it, or I needed to say it." And you're right, it is so. When you get a text like that from somebody, just randomly out of nowhere, it changes your whole day, maybe your whole week, right? And I regularly get texts like that. So I regularly send texts back like that. I think it's critically important to just let the people in your life know how thankful you are for them and how much you appreciate them. You and I talk every day. Me and Emily talk every day. I've got a handful of people that it's a day-to-day, everyday conversation. But there are people in your life that you don't have the opportunity to talk to every day. And so I think it's critically important to let them know that you are grateful for them, that and while you might not talk to them. And yeah, the journaling. I mean, you and I both journal every day, and my part of my morning routine is meditation. And in my meditation, I start it with the things I'm grateful for, including waking up that day, as I said earlier. And it does. When I go into the gym and people see me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're always so wide awake and vibrant. Oh, how the hell you do that this early in the morning or whatever?" It's because I start the day with that meditation and that process of being thankful for what I have and what I'm about to do and what I'm about to accomplish that day. And then I journal at night. So I basically start the day with a session of gratitude with my meditation, and I close out the day at the end of the night with a gratitude of in my journal. Hey, this is what happened today. This is like a little piece of my life or sliver, and I think that is important. And I'm glad you brought it up because two little simple techniques like that can change your whole day. It really can. Plus, it gives you. You ever? Do you do this? Because I do this on a pretty regular basis. I go back if I'm having a bad day, and read my journal.
Mm.
And I go back if I'm struggling for whatever reason, and I read my journal, and I'm always finding things in my journal that make me smile. Like, damn, that was a good day. Yeah, yeah. So that suggestion for any of you guys out there that might be having a bad day: if you journal, read it. Remind yourself of all the good things that happened. I bet you don't have to flip very far to find a good thing that you wrote down one day. And you'd be surprised at how simple that is and how quickly it can turn your bad day good. So, yeah, just a little suggestion. I don't know if you do that, but I find myself doing that often if I'm having a bad day. Let me go back and look at that good stuff. So it works, man.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've thought about doing that before, but I'm running 1,000 miles a minute, so it's hard
Yeah.
for me to do that. But yeah, again, we preach journaling. It's definitely so beneficial for so many different
It
reasons, and
is.
we want to invite all of our listeners and watchers out there to take a pause this holiday season and go step by step as far as reflection and think about the person or people that you do appreciate in your life. You can think about something good that's happened to you this past week or past year, and think of something about yourself that you're grateful for, something that you have grown from, moved past, or continued to adapt to. I think that's so important as well. I mean, because there's so many situations that are out of our control that you do have to adapt to. So
Yeah.
being able to adapt in certain and different situations is a very useful skill that you should be thankful for. So I think that is very important as well. But towards the end of our show, Thanksgiving episode, so I mean, let's talk about our favorite Thanksgiving traditions, and honestly, it's one that was started because of y'all, because of Emily, like watching the Thanksgiving Day parade. Like we
Yes.
never did that when I was growing up. We
Really?
never did that,
Wow.
and like when I started hanging around with y'all, bebopping around and freaking yeah, I love that. It's so fun. It's so lighthearted. It's something that
Yes.
you like don't have to give 100% of your energy to.
No, you're right though. It is one of those things like because a lot of people on Thanksgiving morning they're in the kitchen cooking, right, and they've got the parade on in the background. But that's all you can look up and see, or you can hear your favorite person performing on the parade or what. It's just a feel good thing to have on Thanksgiving morning, and yeah, it's an amazing thing. It's definitely a fun tradition, and obviously the football games. Football is been an important aspect of my life, not just because of my dad and my little brother, but just in general, playing myself and doing the thing. It's always been important. So, football on Thanksgiving has been a lifelong tradition, and it's something I always look forward to. And lately, because I've gotten onto this huge over the last 5 or 6 years cooking kick, I enjoy cooking on Thanksgiving. Before I hated it. I'm just like, just somebody put the turkey on the damn table. Let's eat, kind of a. But now I really enjoy it. I have a love for it, and so I get excited about that. And it's yeah, man. It's just nice. It is one of my favorite days of the year. It is, and I want to share a Thanksgiving tradition that's like really special to me and Emily. And it's treasured moments. When Emily got old enough, we would do Black Friday. We would do the Black Friday thing, and we would go out of town and like do the whole overnight. Sometimes freezing cold, sometimes not making it all the way through or whatever. But it was just hours and hours of bonding and phenomenal conversation and laughs and good times, even when it was freezing cold, or even when and some of my most treasured memories are those Black Fridays after Thanksgiving, and I will never forget them. I made a post one time about I was there with Emily and someone else that's like dearly important in my life, and they didn't make it. They were conking out. We were watching Frasier, old episodes of Frasier, and they both fell asleep watching old episodes. And they were in the back seat together, kind of nestled up and asleep and snoring, which was so. But they were so peaceful. They looked like angels, just like two angels, and just the ability to just sit there and watch them sleep so peacefully and so at peace with life and just happy. That's a memory I will never forget. It's just good little things like that, man. Good little things that I feel like this time of year always brings around and brings out. And yeah. And honestly, before we close this whole thing down, I really, and it should come no surprise to anybody that listens to anything that we do or watches anything that we do or knows us or anything, but I really want to express how thankful I am for you, because you came into my life at a point where I was struggling, and you have added an element to my life that has filled so many holes for me and you have made my life better. You have made Emily's life better. You've made mine and Emily's relationship better. You have been a part of the process of my healing with past relationships, and 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 part of other people's healing in my past relationships and that mending process. And I feel like we are a tighter family and a better family and in a better place of life because of you. And I am forever grateful and thankful for that. I've long said that you were family long before you became family. And yeah, I just wanted to express that because I can't possibly imagine living a day without you in my life, bro, or doing the things that we do, not just with the company, but just us in general, going out and playing tennis, doing just talking movies, just like talking life. I can't imagine it, dude. I can't imagine it now without you. And I'm so thankful that you're in Emily's life and that you're a part of her life, and the growth that I've seen in her because of the growth of you guys together has been amazing. And just so, yeah, man, thankful, bro. Thankful.
Well, I'm thankful for y'all as well. Everything happens for a reason, that's for sure. And I mean, God put us on this path, and we're here where we are for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been an amazing journey, almost 10 years, which
I,
is crazy to even think
yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Time really does fly by. But yeah, we're super thankful for just being here, being on this earth to chase our dream, to continue our passion, to talk mental health for everybody out there, for ourselves as well. We're thankful for just anything and everything that
Peanut.
happened this year. We're thankful for Peanut, and we're thankful for this upcoming year in 2026. So yeah, super thankful for that. And it's always important to be mindful and remember that everything's okay.